Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how I created this look you've seen in a bunch of my videos. It's what I wear for any sort of special occasion makeup. You have requested it and I wanted to go step by step in how I create that look. If you're in need of an in-depth how-to tutorial, this video is for you. No wasting time here. We're going to jump in, show you how to do this makeup. It is so beautiful, perfect for Valentine's Day, if I do say so myself. If you're looking for something for Valentine's Day, but this works for any occasion, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. To begin, I personally always start with brows. I don't want any product, whether it's moisturizer, foundation, nothing on my skin prior to going in with a pencil because it won't stick properly. So I like to do that first. Brows are so different depending on the person. I don't have like one eyebrow, so it takes a lot of work for me. And brows to me is a whole video in and of itself, but I do like to start with a gel first to lay down the hairs, see where I need to fill in, go in with a brow pencil, and then go in with a brow pen to create those hair-like strokes. My biggest tip though is to start with a gel, see if you need even any brow product, because if you have beautiful thick eyebrows, you might just need a gel to keep them in place and very little pencil, if any. For me, I need to create a whole tail to my brow. We're going to move on to eyes now. I do have concealer down as a base. For your eyeshadow base, I feel like a concealer is sufficient. Whatever concealer you have, just apply down. And I like to set with powder. Again, that's also a personal preference. Some people like to not set and get that pigment. I find it can get a little bit patchy if I do that, so I like to set with powder, have the same texture when I go in with powder eyeshadow. For eyes, we're bringing it back to basics. I have this Makeup by Mario eyeshadow palette. You're going to want to use clean brushes to apply your makeup. I will have all my brushes linked below in case you're curious of what brushes I'm using, but just pay attention to the shape of them. I like to use a fluffy brush in the crease, an eye brush. This ochre brown color is one of my favorites in the palette. So we're gonna go in with that first in the crease, always tapping off your brush. And I like to do windshield wiper motions starting in the outer corner because that's where the most pigment is gonna lay down, and bring it through to the inner corner. I like to keep it heavier on the outer corner just due to my eye shape, but if you want, you can bring it even further in. I just blend back and forth, and then I do tiny circles, blending up slightly to get the blend that I'm looking for. So just back and forth between those two motions to get that blend there. I'm holding at the end of this brush, and it just allows me to have light pressure when I'm placing it on the eye. I find if you're light-handed, it's much easier to blend everything out. If you're going in and just smushing your eye, obviously it's going to be harder on your delicate eye skin, but also to just blend out that eyeshadow. So you want to be gentle. You can barely see any motion in my lid, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm very, very light-handed. That's something that people often comment on my videos, how light I am with applying product. You can barely see pressure, basically. And I feel like that has always been the best tip, is just to be light-handed. And then you can always go back in with more as well. So not only for the blend is it better, but for the pigmentation and how easy it is to then get that blend. So every time I start in this outer corner and then just blend it further, so you can see that that naturally creates that gradient for the eye. I feel like this technique works for most eyes, and it helps lift if you have downturn eyes like me, just keeping that angle there. And don't worry about this outer corner. You can make it even less by cleaning it up with a wipe after. It doesn't matter what this part here looks like because we're doing our eyes first. If you already had done your foundation, then you obviously would have wanted to be a little less messy. Doing your eyes first, always the best bet, especially when we're doing special occasion makeup, using glitter, doing all the things. I'm going down a size. As you can see, this brush is a little bit smaller than the one we've been using. That's gonna create more precision. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, another favorite from this palette. And then I'm going to place this kind of like we're doing a wing shape and gradually blend this into that outer corner. You're also going to want to blend it up slightly. Gives me that smoky wing look very effortlessly if you use a smaller brush. So the most pigment you're going to want by the lash line, and then softly blend it up. Again, you can barely see my eyelid skin moving, just the soft blend. I'm blending it in this way so we create the gradient going that way. So it's always this part I focus on for this technique, and then I slowly just buff it out. And also the lid's not going to matter either. You can be pretty messy with this because we're going to be covering it up. This is going to be a really impactful look. You're going to look like you know what you're doing, but very little effort, I feel, if you follow these couple steps just to create this effortless blend. I also want to say, please do not feel like you need the makeup I have, the brushes I have. This is strictly a technique-based video. Of course, I will link things below in case you really love what I have used. Whatever you have, truly you can make work just with your technique. I can make any eyeshadow quality I feel work with these techniques. I do feel like some have a better wear than others, but at the end of the day, whatever you have, you can make work. I've tried it all. I can make pretty much anything work. And then if you want to further blend, I didn't add anything to that first brush. Just going back and softening everything up. If you want to go even darker, take a smaller brush, use a deeper shade, do those steps, bring it lower. That's all it takes to create that smoky winged out liner shape that you often see people do. We're leaving it like this today because I'm also going to show you how I do a wing liner. So for the lid, I like to take a shade that's very light, lighter than my skin. So this is a creamy white shade, but I'm just putting this on my finger. Your fingers are your best friend when it comes to makeup. Just press this on your lid, get it into that inner corner, and then I just kind of blend it out with my finger, and then you can go back in with that first brush and further blend if you need to. Once it's laid down, I just go back, feather those edges. And it's as easy as that. If you go in light-handed, you can apply as much as you want. Just don't be afraid to pack it on. Time does fade pigment, and if your makeup isn't makeuping, like people say, you probably don't have enough on. So you do want to pack it on a little bit in the beginning, just for that wear factor, and I promise you it's not going to look cakey. You just take the steps in between to blend stuff out, you will be good. I will be taking that white shade and putting it in my inner corner as well. I do that near the end though, just because I'm going to be doing concealer and stuff, so I like to further brighten up that inner corner at the end. This is where we're going to have fun with some glitter. Urban Decay has these moon dust eyeshadows that are very impactful, and you can just throw this on your lid and you will look put together. These are so incredible. This was a quad that was limited edition, but I will link some other options down below. This is the shade I'm loving. It's this rosy pinky shade. So pretty, especially for Valentine's Day coming up. Again, using your fingers for this. Except for my eyebrows, I feel like I could use my fingers for every step of my makeup. So we're just gonna pack that on top of that white base, and it's gonna help it pop, but also keep the lid nice and bright. I go no higher than my crease. I just blend it kind of into it, and then I blend it over here lightly. I don't go all the way across my eye. I wanna keep that dark shadow that's matte in that outer corner. But I do slightly bring it over, but the most shimmer is going to be all on that area right there. Everything's nice and blended. I do want a little bit of darkness along my lash line. This is where you can just create eyeliner with shadow, which is easier for beginners. I'm also going to show you how I do eyeliner for those who want to try it, but you can just do a shadow liner and it's more forgiving. So you can just leave it at this next step, or you can do the eyeliner, which I'm going to show you after this. I'm just taking an eyeshadow brush, using the tip of it and running along the edge just to blend it in, kind of flicking it up. A lot of this is going to disappear with me putting on liquid liner, but if you're just leaving it at this step, I want to show you how I blend it out. For eyeliner, I like to use an eyeliner pen. This one is from Rare Beauty. This has a brush tip versus a felt tip. Brush tips are less stiff and are a little bit more forgiving, easier to apply with, in my opinion. Unless you need that really firm control, I do find a brush tip much easier than a felt. So I use this like I use a pen. I only do from the middle of my pupil. I keep the line thin, and then I'm going to follow the shape of the shadow. This is also going to differ if you have hooded eyes. Mine are slightly hooded. So I'm following the shape we created, and then I'm going to connect it pretty much straight across, even if it's going over folded skin. If you do have hooded eyes or slightly hooded eyes like I do, it's a little easier to do your eyeliner if you're looking directly in a mirror with your eyes open. Then you can see where you need to connect it. So when you close your eyes, it might look a little off your eyeliner, like a bat wing. It will look normal when your eyes are open like this. Then to clean up the edges, I just take my makeup remover, and I love these pointed Q-tips. And I just take it and sharpen up the wing. If I made it a little too long, can cut back on that. Even when I think my wings are perfect, I still like to go on these just to really create that sharp line. Using your makeup remover, makeup wipe, whatever you have on hand, you can just clean up any fallout, further tidy up that wing. I just put my nail in my wipe so I can get really close. Lately, I've been curling my lashes before I go and do my liner because I find your eyelash curler can actually remove your eyeliner. So you may have to go back and touch it up. Curling your lashes is so important though, especially if you have straighter lashes like I do. So I get as close to the base of my eyelashes as possible without hurting too much. I still feel a little bit of a pinch. I pump the eyelash curler. Probably do this for about 10 seconds. Gently release, and they're curled enough for me. If your eyes are looking red, lumify. I'm gonna do that before my mascara. For mascara, I love my Clio Kill Lash mascara. That can be a little bit hard to remove. If you're looking for a really good lengthening and voluming mascara, the one from Merit is a tubing mascara, and this is easy to remove, plus it gives you incredible length. You can totally skip false lashes if you don't like using those, but for this look I did. So I'm going to show you how to apply those, but you can see how nicely this builds. It wears really well too, and it comes off no problem. My Kill Lash, if I need my makeup bulletproof, I'm reaching for that. On the daily, I've been reaching for this one because it's been a hassle to remove that one, but I love it still. Still love it. But my Cali Ray, this Merit one, I've just been really enjoying tubing mascaras. I hear the Tarte one's really good too. I want to try that one as well. A tubing mascara will coat each individual lash like a tube. When it comes off, you'll see it almost looks like your lashes are coming off, but it's not. It's just these tubes that are created around each of your lashes to help create that length and that volume. For mascara, I just go from root to tip. I wiggle slightly on the way up, and I don't overdo the coats, because if you start to dip in too many times, it can go really clumpy. It really depends on what mascara you use. Some mascaras I only do one coat, others I can build. This one does volume, length, and separation for me, and that's about 2 coats of mascara. So I do recommend checking out a tubing mascara if you haven't tried one before. They really help with length, volume, and they're easy to remove. Lashes for me are much easier if they're a half lash to apply than a full strip lash, because then you can get the lifting on the inner corner. So I much prefer a half lash. It also helps create that cat eye effect, the lift to my eye, since I do have slightly downturned eyes. The half lash doesn't weigh my whole eye down and just keeps that volume and lift to the outer corner. So that's what we're focusing on further with a false lash. Again, beautiful to just leave your eyes as is with a really good mascara like this one. For that look, I did have some half lashes. The key to false lash application is a good glue. I love the velour one, and letting it dry enough to get tacky. So you don't want to put the glue on your lash and go and apply it right away. You need to let it at least dry 30 seconds. For this glue specifically, you can actually tell it goes this like bluish kind of clear color. So it's white to begin with, and then you can definitely see it starting to go clear. That's when it's going to be tacky enough for you to apply it to your lash line. Then you're not going to be fussing around with it as much, because if it's slippery, it's not going to stay. So you need the glue to sit long enough to get tacky. There's lash applicator tools on the market you can use. If that makes it easier for you, you can definitely pop it on with one of those. I've gotten so used to putting these on myself, I just use my fingers. I have a very steady hand, so you'll see me just apply it on. Kiss makes a lash applicator tool. We have one from Velour too, depending on your style or preference to apply it on. It can really get behind your lashes. If you have very long lashes, then it's easier actually to use a lash applicator tool, or if you have very long nails, it's easier to use a tool as well. Because the lashes I'm using have a black band, they're not clear, having a black eyeliner is very helpful to disguise that line. Clear band lashes are my personal favorite because you can use them without eyeliner. They blend in a little bit better, but definitely pick a half lash. They're the easiest to apply. You don't have to worry about the inner corner lifting so much, especially if you have very round eyes. I find that can actually be problematic for lashes. You need to actually bend your lash prior to putting it on your lash line. Just give that band a little bend so you can create that curve so it actually sticks on your eye a little bit better. I don't personally need to do that with my half lashes because it's not that curve, but basically create the curve you need to fit your eyelash on. So if you need to adjust it, play around with the band, loosen it up a bit, get it more curved to your eye, you might need to do that. When it's dried down, it should just pop right on like that. Minimal effort. Should be on. Again, just angle it down behind my lashes. There are some lashes you put under your lashes. They look nice for everyday makeup. I find them a little irritating on my eyes, just like a traditional lash for me. If there's glue you can see, just wait for it to dry. If it hasn't, you still have that spot at the end of your makeup. You can go back in with your pen, liner, or your shadow and just pop a little bit on top of that to blend it in. But I don't worry about that until the very end. If I still see the white peeking through, then I'll go back and fix that. But just let it hang out, dry down further. This is my favorite kind of look for any occasion. Moving on to skin, something I feel like I do exceptionally well. My base makeup, I really have down pat for myself. I don't do this every time, but for a special occasion, I'm going to go in with one of these toner pads. That's gonna help create the most smooth canvas for me for when I go in with my makeup application. I also don't skip sunscreen ever. I know that can cause flashback. I've never personally had an issue with that. This is also gonna help take off any fallout that may have happened on other places on the face. Anytime I really touch my skin or apply liquid or whatnot, my face goes red. Not irritated, it's just how my skin is. Though I do have sensitive skin. So once I cleaned up my face, you can see still had some stuff on my face. It was washed prior. So get it nice and clean. So whatever foundation you put on is going to go on smoothly. To hydrate my skin today, just going in with my Delba spray, and you can use a moisturizer. I have run out a bunch of the ones that I use for priming, but this one is great for hydration, and I don't want to mix anything in with my toner pad that I know will irritate my skin. I do have sensitive skin, so the whole base for my makeup does change. I just look at my skin, see what it needs. My prepping process is going to change based on that, but I do recommend moisturizer. Even if you're oily, just hydrating the skin, it's going to make your foundation go on much better, as well as an eye cream, which is essential for me. This one's from Inky List. It's really nice. It's the caffeine eye cream. It helps awaken the eye area, depuff, all the good stuff that you're looking for. Just helps the concealer go on a lot better. And I'll personally never skip on sunscreen. This is the one I'm currently using from Purito. I am sensitive, extremely sensitive to sunscreen if you're not familiar with me, but the Korean sunscreens that I have used do not cause me to break out. They're nice and moisturizing. They also don't have a white cast. They go on nice and clear. You need a lot of sunscreen on the face. Also, ideally, you want sunscreen here as well. I do my eyes first, so when you prep, just remember, very delicate area, also needs some protection. If you have sensitivity to sunscreen, please check out Korean sunscreen. It has changed the game for me, and I wish I would have had it in my earlier years. Then I wouldn't have so much sun damage on my skin. And my skin has a good amount of tack to it, bouncy and supple. Treat your skin concerns prior to going in with makeup. I like my face to look hydrated before going in with my foundation. It's what works best for me to have that hydration first. Now I'm taking a pore primer. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer. This one is fantastic if you have larger pores. So I put this on my nose, beside my nose, between my eyebrows, and a little on my chin. Those are my porous areas. I don't find this too drying. You could use it over your whole face. I just like to stick to the T-zone, do a little pat in. The sun's playing peekaboo with us right now, but you can see I have a lot of generalized redness for my face. We're trying to match the body. I'm not going to put on a foundation that matches my skin because that's something I want to correct. So we're going to be matching the body right here, which is a little bit warmer, has a little bit more color. My face is considerably lighter than my body, so you will see me go in with a darker foundation, but that's going to help match the body. That's what I recommend, matching your neck. You don't want to really match your face if your body is darker. It's just going to look off. For foundation today, in the videos that you requested this makeup look, I was actually using Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I was a little bit more tan in those videos, actually a lot more tan than I am right now. I haven't really been self-tanning. So I was using 7.8 if you're curious to my shade in that video, but I mixed in with a little bit of 5.75, which I feel like we're mainly going to use that one for today. I'm running out of this. We're just using all my favorites today. So as you can see, I put a little bit of foundation here. Does it blend into my neck? I would say it does. So we're gonna go with 5.75 today. I'm using a BK Beauty 101 brush to apply this. I prefer a brush for foundation application. You get the coverage. So now we're going to cover up that generalized redness. Always bring it down your neck. And the beauty of Luminous Silk foundation, not that you want to use a ton of pumps of this, but you could put so much of this on your skin and it's not going to look cakey. A lot of companies, when they tell you how to apply foundation, recommend placing it in the center and then blending it out because most people need the most coverage in the middle. I have places on the side of my face where I need more coverage. So I usually start there, but this varies. Again, depending on your skin. I take a lot of time pressing in my foundation. I don't really swipe too much. I more so do like a stippling motion with a fairly dense brush, lightly bring it down. So you can see we're starting to match the body. I don't have really anything I need to cover on my forehead. I just need the tone to be correct. So don't go too heavy on the foundation there. It's best, again, to use less, and then you can always build. This is a very buildable foundation, as I was saying. And if you need more coverage, go in with concealer. I like to blend it into my hairline. That's why I have these clips up here, so when my hair comes down, I won't have that weird white line on my forehead. If you have blonde hair, you're gonna have to be more careful though, because it can get into your hair and be pretty hard to remove. I go as close as I can to my eyebrows without going over them, so I don't have white lines around my eyebrows. Any remainder product from my hand, even behind the ears, bring it down the neck. You don't want a line right here on your face. When in doubt, just keep blending. I basically push the foundation into my skin until it becomes my skin. It becomes one with my skin. Also, if you are more dry, if you're swiping like that, you could kind of exfoliate the skin. So I feel like pressing that in. Every spot is even. If you have blemishes or spots on your skin that you want to cover up like I do, this is my favorite facial concealer. It's from NARS. It's their soft matte concealer. As you can see, she is well loved. I'm using a domed concealer brush to apply this to spots that I just need that extra coverage. This is going to help the rest of your skin still look like skin, more natural, that you don't keep just applying layers of foundation. Spot concealing is going to look the most natural. We're still going to look glam, but we're not going to look cakey because I like a glam makeup, but I do not want to look cakey glam makeup. Some people don't use this under their eyes. I have actually really been enjoying this underneath my eyes, and I've always loved it underneath my eyes. But it is that more matte concealer, but it covers absolutely everything. You don't see that hollowness, and it just looks way better, in my opinion. Again, some days my skin might not be able to handle the soft matte underneath my eyes. I just go by what my skin looks like that day. One that's consistent that I can usually use any day is this one from Danessa Myricks. It's the Lift and Flex Concealer. It does what it says. It flexes with your skin throughout the day. And then I never have acne, but I have cystic acne 2 spots. I'm gonna attribute it to either hormones or stress, because I've been going through it. This will cover all that up for me. My skin is quite textured naturally. This is where powder is gonna come in and make everything look smoother, but I don't mind seeing my skin texture. It's just evening the skin, and as long as it still looks like skin, it's not grabbing on anything. It really is such a beautiful foundation, but I have tons of other favorites depending on your price point. I did a whole video on my favorite foundations, and skin tints. Depending on what you want, I have lots of recommendations for you. I've never seen someone look bad in Luminous Silk from Armani. So I like a medium coverage. I like still seeing my freckles through my makeup and my moles. I like that. That's something that I personally like. I don't want everything to be completely covered, because that's when it looks makeup-y to me, when my skin looks too perfect. So I personally don't like too perfect looking skin. Medium coverage is what works best, plus spot concealing for me, and then I get that natural finish that I personally absolutely love. For contour, I personally like to bronze tour. So I like to use something that's not too cool for my skin. I'm using this Merit Stick in Tiger's Eye. I found this color from a girl on TikTok. This is one of the few products I can actually draw on my skin, but for the most part, for a lot of products, I put it on my hand first and then go in and blend it out. I do it higher than the hollow and then blend up. So you can see it creates that depth for me without being too cool, which I personally don't care for. And I like the precision of this. It's a little bit smaller. I feel like these sticks are good for beginners. If you need something easy to use, anything will do. I have so many different kind of bronzers and cream contour products that I love. Bronzer is my favorite part. So bronzing up the skin is where we start bringing that shape back to my face. I like accentuating my cheekbones, making sure they're nice and lifted. I also like to contour my forehead. I'm gonna take a little bit here and then really work this into the hairline. For this step, you can also just use your foundation brush, which I often do because the leftover foundation on your foundation brush actually helps further blend in any kind of cream contour bronzer you're doing. Go ahead and just further blend that in. If my jaw is looking a little saggy, I like to do a little L, kind of come up a bit further, as you can see. And then I start to blend that in as well. You can already see it's giving me the illusion of a sharper jawline when I'm just contouring that extra skin area. Key is blend, blend, blend. You don't want to have a harsh line, and then just go back in with a foundation brush. I don't always do this. I'm just showing you all the tips in this video. It's going to be 3 hours long at this rate. And 99% of people probably don't have this issue. I have a very sharp chin. This is not a chin implant, and it's not filler. I was born with this. Try and chisel it down somewhat, but you know, this is what I have. So this is what we're working with. That's why you just base it off your face shape. I'm laughing because there's not much you can do with it. I've learned to accept it, but it's so funny how so many people think I inject my chin. I'm going to take a little bit on my contour brush. I'm going to lightly contour with this. It is more of a warm shade, so I say contour loosely because I use bronzer often to contour because I just like the warmth on my face. So some under my nose, and then across, and you gotta blend this. But also, highlighting helps with the contour as well. Powder is also gonna help soften it slightly. If it looks a little harsh at first, it always softens upon powder application for me. So I don't mind it looking a little bit harsh to begin with. But again, pick and choose the things you wanna do. You might not want to even contour your face. Totally up to you. Just showing you what I do for full-on glam special occasion, like the most special. I find this relaxing and peaceful to do like a full face of makeup like this. It just feels nice to paint my face. How some people just like to paint, like I like to paint my face. We're gonna use a puff, nice and pointed like this. You can get triangle puffs on Amazon. This one is just a Morphe one. It's very pointed. And then I'm using my broken Kosas powder because this packaging doesn't seem to hold up. This is the pink powder. You can see I already hit pan. You can tell this is a favorite powder of mine. And now we're going to start to press to the skin. So you're going to want to make sure that your concealer has no creases. That soft matte doesn't tend to crease on me, but if it does, go in with your concealer brush buff that out and then set, because if you set creases, it's just going to remain creasy. And also, I don't personally bake my under eyes. My eyes cannot handle that. If you have drier skin, more mature skin, this Kosas powder is made for our skin. I feel like it's not drying. I also have video on my top powders, covers oily skin, mature skin, dry skin, whatever skin type you have. I have a powder for you. I've just been really loving this Kosas one. So I use the pink on the center of my face just to help brighten. Anywhere that I put that primer basically, except for underneath my eyes. I like it to have that kind of pink lighten look. And then you can start setting the nose. I just do the highlight parts because I want to keep that contour at the side. But also I don't want it to look like two lines down my nose, so I just kind of lightly press that all in, and eventually it just starts looking like a smaller nose. So you can see where I put all that powder, how smooth. You don't see that glare, that shine. It's going to help with pores, texture, any kind of bumps on your skin. It's going to make everything look smooth. And don't worry about this part too much, because if you apply a little too much powder, we can fix that with setting spray. I can assure you I can fix any problem you have without removing your whole face of makeup. We can fix it. Believe me, we can. I should do a whole video on how to fix makeup mistakes. If you want to see that, that's a good idea. Like, I need to write that down. We're taking my Kosas powder. Again, these are products I use and swear by. We need a new Kosas powder for all over the face. I use the shade Comfy, and I'm just going to swirl that puff in that powder. This is where we're going to start pressing over that bronzer we did. Contour if you use contour. This is where it all comes together. My skin with this combination is so good, but I feel like this powder just works with all my foundation. I can get my skin to look so nice, and it wears nice too. I took this really unflattering photo and posted it on Instagram just to show you how my makeup wears and how my skin looks. At the end of the day, my makeup holds up with these steps. And don't forget to powder your neck as well. If you put foundation on your neck, which I told you to, let's powder that area so it doesn't move. This powder doesn't look powdery. It just softened everything, smoothed it out. It is a gorgeous powder underneath the eyes, all over the face. It's really, really beautiful. You can leave the bronze like this. I'm going to add a little bit of powder bronzer to my face. Any bronzer will do. This one has a little bit of a sheen to it, so I feel like it helps bring back that natural skin look. So that's why I'm going in with this, because we are fairly matte, and I'm just using a fluffy brush. Anything fluffy will do. I'm using all my favorites. Should just be a full face of products I've hit pan on. I like to start in the hairline and just lightly bring it down. I don't want it to be darker going lighter. I need the gradient to go darker to lighter. Feel like you went too heavy, re-powder that area. Helps blend it all in. I like a pretty heavy contour on my forehead and then further on the cheeks. So this edge right here looking a little harsh. Gonna go over it with my concealer brush. We're not harsh anymore. So I'm going back with that eyeshadow brush, just taking off any eyeshadow actually on that brush, because we're gonna be using that creamy shade. Taking that shade, I'm just going to press it into the inner corner and further brighten up the eye. I love how this looks. It just, the perfect finishing touch for me. And then I use my highlighter. This is the best white shade. As you can see, hit pan. I'm telling you, these are my go-to products. I think you can tell what products I love. I'm just putting that over to give it more of a frosty effect. And then to help with the nose contour, I take a combination of the gold and the white, do a little on the tip, using the finger, then on the bridge. This is my favorite brush for contour, blush, any kind of cream, basically. This is the dupe for the Makeup by Mario F4, which is currently dirty. This is the Jessup one you can get from Amazon. I'm gonna use that, and for this look, I love a red blush. This can be scary, especially this red from Rare Beauty, because even a dot of this is gonna be way too much, probably. This is where I put it on the back of my hand, really work it into the bristles. You want an even application of this. You don't wanna risk a splotch of red. So as soon as it starts looking blended on your hand, that's when you're safe to go in. If you're still packing it on your hand and it's still looking splotchy, the chances are it's gonna look splotchy on your face as well. So I concentrate it back here and I bring it into my temple. bringing up into the hairline. This again is personal preference, how much blush I like and for it to go up like that. Beautifully even, lots of pigment. You can also go back over with your puff, your foundation brush. If it looks too much for you, do what you need to do. I do find red really helps chisel and contour my face, so I love how that looks. Now we're just going to try and match it. Again, the stamping motion back and forth. If you need help blending out a bit, you have that fluffier side to help do that. I keep bouncing around because I'm forgetting to finish my eyes. So we're just taking a little bit of that first shade we used. I just take the same brush, no point in dirtying any more brushes, and I pinch it, put a little bit under my eye. Could I pull a brush that I could use for this step? Absolutely, but I hate cleaning my brushes, so I try and use them as much as I can for my makeup look, so there's less brushes to clean. Then for my lower lashes, just taking a spoolie. So I find it easier to comb them through before going in with mascara, making sure they're not clumped together because then it's just going to look clumpy. I love the MAC Giga Black. This has a very thin wand to it. It's just going to help capture all those lashes, and this doesn't budge or smudge. So I love keeping these little disposable wands on hand, just to comb through. This went on pretty good without having to do this actually. But I'd say more often than not, I do need to go in with a spoolie to help clean up my lower lashes after. This just was a lucky day, I guess. For lips, I'm gonna recreate exactly what I did for those videos you saw this makeup in. I think lining your lips is essential. It helps create fullness to my lips, and mine are uneven. You can see this side needs a little bit more work. This whole side of my face actually needs a little bit more work. So we try and match it the best we can, but don't be hard on yourself because no one has a perfect face. We can try and make it as even as we can with makeup. Have fun, don't stress, have a nice sharp pencil. Practice makes perfect, and even with practice, might not be perfect, but just do your best. I like to start on the bottom lip. I keep it close to my lip line here, but I bring it out under my lip in the center to make it more pouty. I'm using MAC Spice, by the way. It's one of my favorite lip colors. I lightly overline my Cupid's bow, and this section of my lip I need to line a little bit more than this one. Then I bring it back in and connect. I kind of smush my lips together to blend it a little bit. Very technical over here. You can use a lip brush, your finger. I feel like smushing my lips actually helps because this lip, which is even, can help me see where I need to work on my upper. I love this color from Charlotte Tilbury. It's so slept on. Any pink will do. Again, don't feel obligated for anything that I'm showing you. This is simply a technique video, but I do love this color. So this is Charlotte Tilbury Live It Up. Concentrate that in the center. It's a warm pink, very bright. And once my lipstick is on, I've mushed it together. I like to just take my time and blend my liner again. Just trying to make sure it looks good underneath the gloss we're going to put on top, which this is going to lighten it slightly. It's from Anastasia and it's cotton candy. So I find this really helps make my lips look full. It's a little bit lighter and more lavender. So we focus that on the center, and that gives the pretty pinky kind of rosy pink look because of the spice liner. Has that warmth to it, that reddish warmth mixed with the red, which I really like. That kind of matches the eyes, I feel. I just feel like these tones all together are the perfect, really girly, special occasion makeup that I'm personally going to be wearing for Valentine's Day, but this is what I've been using anytime I want to feel super glam and my makeup just done. This is the look, but we want to seal it together, and my favorite little combination, and again, this is going to vary for everyone. I'm just showing you what works for me, my skin type. I'm normal leaning dry, slightly sensitive skin, so we are looking very matte. I do like more of a glow to my skin, but to have that perfection as a base. So we're going in with my Delba. Almost done this. Spray the face. I'm pretty heavy-handed when it comes to my spray. My skin can handle it. If your skin can't, maybe don't use so much spray. And then I'm almost done this as well. Very little left. This is the L'Oreal Infallible. Can't breathe or talk when that's going on. This makes it everything resistant. Waterproof, sweat resistant, clothes resistant, smudge resistant, phone resistant. If you need your makeup locked on, this is fantastic. A lot of people love the one size too if you want to keep it more matte, if you preferred that finish prior to these sprays. check out the one size. You probably would like that one more, but this is everything I do. So we're gonna let this dry down. I do fan myself. I like to speed up the process. Now I'm just gonna go off camera, quickly get dressed, do my hair, come back, and we're gonna finish off this video. This is the completed makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed this how-to video. We went in depth on how I create my go-to makeup, go-to glam for special occasions. I've worn this in a couple days filming, and you wanted to see me recreate this, which I'm so happy you did because I love this makeup so much. I used all my favorites for this look too. As you can see, a ton of stuff I've hit pan on. These are tried and true. I love them so much, and this look is just so stunning and honestly easy to do. If you take your time, go step by step, follow the steps of this video, you will definitely have the most beautiful makeup, long wearing, not cakey, but glam. You will love how your makeup turns out. So thank you so much for clicking on this video, for spending some time with me today. And if you want to see more how-to videos like this, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment, let me know what you want to see. If you enjoyed this video, if I should keep them up, let me know, because I typically don't go in depth like this, but I know I would have loved to have had a video like this when I was first starting out with makeup, so I hope this helps just one person out, honestly. With your special occasion makeup application, I will be wearing this for Valentine's Day and basically any time in the future. If this is my first video of yours, I would absolutely love for you to be a subscriber of my channel by hitting the red subscribe button, the bell to be notified of all my future videos, and I will see you all in my next video.